In this video, I'm going to show you how to take a robot inside of Browse AI and use the Browse AI API to do a little magic. So let's say you had an application where you want to send requests to Browse AI to run some robots, or send some requests to retrieve data from Browse AI. My robot right here is called Apartments List, and what it does is it gets me a list of apartments from this website based on the URL that I have provided. So we'll use this as the example. You can use your own robot and follow along as I demonstrate the process of using the API. And for this demonstration, I'm going to be using an application called Postman. You can use whatever you would like, but I'll be showing how to use the Postman application in order to do this. It's available for many platforms and is a pretty easy tool to use and also free. So let's jump in. Let's start on the API documentation page at browse.ai/docs/API/v2. At the very top of the page, you'll see a download button. When you click on that, a new page will open, and you can copy all of this, select everything with Command A on a Mac, Control A on a Windows computer. Okay, so now I will copy all of this, and in Postman, I'll go to the workspace, fresh workspace, click on this import button here, import APIs and collections, and I'll paste what I copied. And then we'll see Postman collection with Browse AI API documentation, and let's import it. So everything that gets imported is what we just saw in the API docs. You can open this, go down into robots, and you'll see robot ID and what's available there. We've got tasks under robot ID. We've got some under there. We've got more in monitors. You can take a look and see what's available all inside here. It's quite extensive, and you'll want to get familiar with the API docs before you do much of anything in here. Let's go to tasks and run a robot. So let's start in the very first tab, params. And under path variables, there's only one thing we need, which is the robot ID. There's a default value, but I will select this and delete it altogether. Let's just remove what's in here, and we'll go to the robot in Browse AI. So click on the Integrate tab, and over on the right, REST API. And down at the bottom, you'll see a few things you're going to need. One is the robot ID. So select this and copy it, and we'll bring that over into Postman and put it in the value box again, under the params and robot ID. We'll paste that in there. Next, let's go to the authorization tab right here, and we'll change from inherit auth from parent to bearer token. And there's something in here by default. I'm going to delete this and show you where to get your API key. So back on that same page, I can click on this link right here. And you may not have a key, like I don't have a key. So I'll just create one, give it a name like API demo, and I'll add it. And then I'll click this little clipboard icon to copy it and go back to Postman and paste it. The next tab is the headers tab, which we can click into, but we don't actually have to change anything. So let's go to the body tab. This one's super important. There's a few things we're going to have to put in here. Let's go back to our robot and go to these robot input parameters. There's two of them. I'll copy this first one, go back into Postman and replace this right here with origin URL. Let's go back to the robot page, and I'll get the second input parameter that I need, which is the limit to how many apartments I want to scrape. And I'll replace this item right here, paste this. Now, this bottom piece I don't actually need, so let's delete that, and don't forget to remove this trailing comma here. So I'll backspace, and let's fill this out. The limit can be 10, for example. And for the origin URL, let's go back to the robot and go to the run task page up here. And I'll just use this one that I used to train it. So I'll copy this, bring it over to Postman, and paste it right here. And that should be everything we need for this request. So let's click this blue send button and see what happens. And down here, the response is a 200. It's a success. Let's check the robot in Browse AI to see what's happening. We'll go to the history tab. All right, created by the API, perfect. Added to the queue. And that is finished successfully. Let's hop back into Postman and try a different request. Why not retrieve a task? We'll use this get, and all we need is a robot ID and also a task ID. So where can we get those? Let's first remove this robot ID. Aside from the Integrate tab, you can also get the robot ID from the URL right here. So I'll copy this, go back into Postman, and paste that right here. Now let's remove the task ID and go grab that. So back in the history tab, I'll click on that particular task, scroll up here, get this at the end after history right here. Copy that, go back into Postman, and paste it into the appropriate field. This should be ready to go, so let's click on send and see what happens. Oh no, status code is 401, unauthorized. Something's missing. I see unauthorized and I think maybe the authorization is the problem. So I'll click in the authorization tab up here in the top left. And sure enough, there is no auth here. If you remember on that first request, we changed from inherit auth from parent to just have it in that run a robot request. So let's fix that. Let's go back to the very top here, browse AI documentation, click on auth, and let's put the API key here. So I'll choose bearer token, and let's go grab that token once again. I'll click on the integrate tab for my robots, and then REST API, and this link right here. And let's copy this once again and bring it back into Postman. Paste it. And it's super easy to miss this next part because the save button is up here on the right and not super obvious, but you do need to click save up here. All right, let's go back to that request to retrieve a task. All right, authorization's being inherited. You can see right here, and on the right, we've got the token. So let's send it again and see what happens. Awesome, it worked this time. You can scroll down and see the results of that request to get the task. These are what my robot scraped. And that's it for the demo. Now, when you're using the Browse AI API, the docs will be your best friend. And once again, those are at browse.ai/docs/API/v2. And you can click through all of these to see the various requests that are available. You can check out the details. And on the right-hand side, you've got the various request samples and response samples. So you can click in here, click through the various programming languages to see how the API would work with those languages. If you have any questions as you're working with the Browse AI API, please do feel free to contact our support team by visiting help.browse.ai.